Welcome to Champagne Problems Podcast. I am your host, Robbie Shaw. Join us as we explore mental and emotional well-being, physical optimization, and the journey to discovering your highest self. Champagne Problems is brought to you in proud partnership with Bond Buzz, the alcohol-free social spirit. Courtney Michelle, welcome to Champagne Problems.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're so very welcome. I typically start just giving a general context as to how this came about.
Okay.
Often I have people I know, sometimes people I don't, sometimes people I stalk.
Perfect. I hope on the latter.
Oh, big time.
Fingers crossed.
Believe me. I think I sent you a note a while back. Yeah, so we don't know each other. We just met face to face. We spoke via social media. I reached out because I have followed you for a while. I am a comedic hobbyist, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. I did a little improv in New York.
That's right.
Know a lot of comedians. My whole life has been a series of kind of, I'll say it this way. I come from a long line of funny men, is what I say.
You do?
Yeah.
Self-proclaimed?
I would call them funny men.
You would call them? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's much better.
Grandfather, I would equate to like a Dangerfield.
Wow.
Like hold court, like circles of people while he's telling stories.
What a guy. What was his name?
Bob Shaw, Robert Shaw, my name. That's who I was named after.
Are you a junior?
No.
Okay.
No.
Is that not how that works? Okay.
Well, I don't think you're a junior under a grandfather.
But you're not, because even though you're the second one?
He was a junior, actually. So
my God,
I guess I would be a third.
You're a third. I was like, what comes after junior?
Yeah, second.
I went straight to school. I go, all right, senior, freshman,
sophomore. Robert Shaw. Sophomore.
Right. Okay.
No, yeah, he. I don't think you do it unless you're right after.
These are things I don't know.
I don't know either, but I'm not a third.
Okay.
And there's a few Robert Shaws before me.
Okay, you don't have to claim that title. You can be your own
all
person.
Funny men. Back to the funny men.
Yes.
Back to the comedy. Back to me following you because I follow people that make me laugh, and you're funny.
That's very sweet. I appreciate that.
It was very simply put too.
Who's your favorite comedian? I want to get like a feel for where you're.
Who's my favorite child? What's my favorite movie? What's my favorite band? Yeah.
Favorites are always so fun.
There's no way. I mean, yeah, it's like what comes to mind now out of the 20 that are my favorites?
Yeah, who are you into right now? We'll go that. That's safe.
Well, I mean, super clean. Nashville's finest or Tennessee's finest, whatever his name is, Nate. The guy gets better and better. You know, it's and comedians, as you know, and even actors, over time you get to know them, and so it's kind of like whatever they say is funny over time.
Yep.
I feel like Nate is that way now. He does have a great delivery and all that, but I'm a big fan of Sebastian Maniscalco, and it's because I grew up on the Jerky Boys and Andrew Dice Clay, like the northern, like fucking fast, like fucking just quick humor. I love. And I think he embodies that very, very well. A little bit different, a little more of like a kind of a Travolta feel.
Oh, him. Okay, yes. Sure.
Sebastian. Sure. Obviously, I Bill Burr is great for men.
Give me somebody with a vagina.
Yeah, I know.
Pull it out. You got it.
I think my favorite female comedy people.
And don't say me. Don't you dare say me.
Let me retract what I was
Take me off
say.
the table.
God, well, I have nowhere to go now. No, I'm more of a like funny women in movies and skits and like SNL and those kinds of things. So I don't have a favorite stand-up female comedian.
That's okay, but you don't abhor them.
Fuck no.
Just not one comes to mind.
I love funny women.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
This is why are we here? Why are we here? You. Who's your favorite? Who do you follow?
My favorite comedians right now.
Yeah.
I'm very cliche. I've been into her for a very long time, but I love what she's done just this past year. Nikki Glazer, I'm a huge fan of.
Mm-hmm. I tried to get her on this podcast because she quit drinking.
Ah, that's right, she did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just love. I feel like her timing is good. I feel like as someone who tries to be funny, I feel like we have the same drive behind our comedy, if that makes sense. So I feel like I relate to the things that she finds funny. Not only am I laughing at them, but I feel like I relate to them on a comedic level.
Mm-hmm.
So profound, I know.
Very deep, very, very deep.
Yes. I also love Nate. Nate's great. I love that he's able to be clean. I would throw up. I feel like I don't know how to be funny without like talking about my butthole or something.
Yeah,
like it
little
feels,
emphasis.
Yes, it feels like a magic trick almost.
Yeah.
That it's so pure, but
Right.
it's so funny.
It's so funny.
I've tried it once to be funny without like cursing or being inappropriate, and I felt like my hands were tied behind my back and intimate. So I don't know. I give him props for that.
No, I was a guest on a podcast in Charlotte, and I did not know the host very well, and I did not know that he was a very religious man, and that this podcast was a little bit in that space. Didn't do any research, and just came out. You're right. And everybody was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Oh no, I don't know how to do this. Like, I'm not entertaining without
I know.
fuckings and." Fuckings mainly.
A few fuckings. I mean, I threw out a vagina before.
Sure.
And
I don't do many cock or dick jokes. I mean, that feels a little. I don't know. You could throw someone off with that. Just keep talking about cock.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That if you keep coming back to it, if it's like
keep talking about your,
it does feel a little obsessive. Yeah, and I do feel like sometimes I can get very not sexual, but very body part oriented. This feels far away, right?
Yes, it does.
Oh,
Here,
but
twist that thing right there.
There we go. But she's a little heavy, so we'll let her kind of sit wherever she wants to go.
She's going down.
I know.
Easton. Here, I get it.
That's better. Okay, and the boobs are fine still. Don't lie to me, Easton.
Easton, right on it. Yep. Boobs are good.
I just went off birth control, and so my boobs have gotten smaller, which is a real thing that I know. Think
That's
how
a
I
bummer.
feel.
Yeah, well,
I can
and that
see
was
him every day.
You know, that was part of the reason I reached out to you.
Because I went off birth control.
Because your boobs got
smaller?
No, because you
Perfect.
shared about that, about going off birth control, and then you started doing these other things to kind of counter the side effects, and I was like, and they were very holistic, functional, whatever you want to call it, and that's what drew me to you. That's why.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I would have interviewed you for any reason, but my podcast is a little bit more in that space, like mental health, wellness, physical optimization kind of stuff.
Well, thank you for being along for the journey.
Oh, well.
So far, it's been going great. The only downfall is the boobs, but
Well, good.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
perfect.
I want to go to a rapid fire session.
Oh God, I fucking hate rapid fire.
Good. Well, that's why we're going to do it.
And you know why I hate rapid fire? Because
These aren't hard.
I know, but listen, I just want to address it at the top because I feel I have. It's not analysis paralysis. It is like, what's the perfect choice paralysis.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I give you the perfect answer.
Oh yeah.
And the heightenedness of a rapid fire gives me so much anxiety.
And it makes you blank.
And it makes me completely shoot blanks.
So this isn't designed to get you to like improv. It's like questions.
It doesn't matter. It's still gonna fuck me up, but let's do it anyways. It'll make me stronger in the end.
All right. Well, I'm gonna. If you don't care, then I'm gonna make it hard.
Perfect.
So I typically ask, what was your first live music concert? But I'm now kind of shifting into what was your most memorable, and it could obviously be both.
Okay, well, my first was Britney Spears. That one I have locked and loaded, ready to rock.
Love it.
My most memorable, oh God, I actually don't know. I feel like I need to make more memorable. I saw Beyonce here when she was lovely.
Oh yeah,
That was a great show.
the most recent one, like the White Horse.
Yep.
I saw that one in Charlotte. So good.
She's just a force. I do regret not seeing Taylor Swift.
You didn't.
I never saw her, and I was like, oh, whatever. I'm not like a diehard fan, but
You don't
I
have to
do.
be.
But I do like her, and I was like, I'm not going to pay that money and
Yeah.
do that, blah 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 blah. And now it's probably my biggest regret the last like 2 years, and I've made some bad decisions.
I've seen her 2 times.
Shut up.
Oh yeah,
You have a daughter?
I do.
Yeah. How old is she?
I do. She's 14, and she's actually not a huge Taylor Swift. My wife is a huge Taylor Swift. She's seen her like 4 times.
That's amazing. How old's your wife? Oh no, this can't be well. This is bad.
She doesn't give a shit. She's 49, about gonna be 50 in June.
Okay, great. Okay.
Okay, thank God.
No, you threw out a number. We love to hear it.
So, all right. So Britney Spears. All right. Well, then what comes to mind? I mean, Beyonce was good, but anything.
Here's what I'll say. It was. Oh my god. I might have to look him up because I'm blanking on his name, but it was the first time I'd seen an artist loop live, and do you know what I mean when I say that?
Oh yeah.
Like play the piano, play the guitar,
and then
loop it, build on top of it. It's like a
it.
one-man show.
Amazing.
God, I can't remember his name. He's so talented.
Interesting. So Billie Eilish just did that live.
Yeah, yeah. It's become a thing. This was like not 10 years ago, was it? Like 9 years ago, 8 years ago in LA.
I'd love to know who it was.
I would too. And he's not like a huge artist, but he's well known. I don't know why I can't remember his name. I could sing the song.
I got it.
Which is great for podcasts. Just me humming and singing.
If you could snap your fingers and be anywhere, where would it be?
In a coma. I just need a little break.
Yeah, sure. It'd be interesting to know what goes on inside of a coma.
I would actually, if I could snap my fingers, I imagine it's just like a prolonged dream. No, isn't that what's been kind of recorded? Just like a fun long dream.
I was thinking more geographic location, but sure, if we want to go internal, that works, and that says a lot about you.
Thank you so much. No, I think I would like to go. I have two answers. One is another one you're not gonna like. Somewhere magical, like Hogwarts.
Fake, yeah.
Yeah. I think Hogwarts would be fun. I think I just watched Red One on Netflix, that Santa movie.
Yeah.
The North Pole, like
that place,
magical place. Looks so fun.
That does look fun.
Take me.
Sure. Yeah, I didn't say it had to be real.
But I want to go to Europe this year, and I feel like I won't do well on the flight. So maybe snapping and going to Europe would be an easier way to get there.
Yeah, save travel time. God, your answers very different. Very good.
Go.
Okay. Comedy, movie, or TV show that you
don't.
I know it's hard.
Don't you dare.
Well, no, that you can watch endlessly. Not your favorite. Well, I guess it probably is your favorite, but
it's not my favorite. But there's so many.
I know. Name 3 then.
And comedy, it has to be comedy.
Absolutely.
Listen, I have a very expanded taste. Okay.
and you know, if you laugh at horror, that's fine.
That's fair. I gag at The Notebook. You know
Saw 6 is my favorite, funniest movie ever.
There are parts that are funny. Okay, comedy movie. I mean, this is so cliche. I love Bridesmaids. Oh, you know what I've seen a bunch of
Kristen
times?
Wiig was going to be the female that you can't go wrong.
She's like forever on my vision board.
Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy.
Oh,
Melissa McCarthy is like a once in a lifetime talent. I can't even put her on my vision board because I'll never be here. So she just lives in this like abyss in my brain somewhere. But I love Bridesmaids. It feels good. It's funny every single time. Mean Girls. These are such cliche girl movies, but
so what?
I feel so nostalgic when I watch them. And then the movie What We Do in the Shadows.
Never seen it.
Under just like a tinge of marijuana, which I know you don't do, but in the states where it's legal, of course.
Is it legal here?
Absolutely not. And it won't be for a long time, which is so stupid.
Yeah, North Carolina, I think it's the same way.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's shops everywhere, and it's all fucking Delta 9 and all that stuff.
It's all the Delta Airlines,
which does the job.
I guess it does the job, but I'm like, what is this laced with? Is it laced with?
It's just weed.
You think it's weed?
Yeah.
But how do they cut out?
They don't cut anything out. It's just a different strand that's not in the law books.
No, they cut out the part that makes it more weed than what it is.
I don't know.
They cut out the back half that gives you the munchies. In my personal experience.
I mean, so I was doing it up until about 3 years ago.
Okay. What was your experience?
It did the same thing to me.
It was the same for you.
Pretty much.
All right.
There's a little difference.
All right, fine. I mean, I guess I have no scientific evidence to back up what I just said. It's all anecdotal.
Removes the munchies.
I just get like paranoid on that stuff. But anyways, a little good hybrid smoky smoke. Mm-hmm. And you sit down on a lovely couch with hopefully a buddy who has also already seen the movie, because you can kind of have the little inside jokes, or someone who's you can pop the cherry, I guess, with this one. But it is. Have you seen the show? What we do in the shadows?
No.
Oh my god. Okay.
All right. Yeah. No. This is why we ask these questions.
It is goofy beyond belief. It's a mockumentary about vampires.
Lovely.
And it is so stupid. It's Taika Waititi, who I think is like so genius, but also such an idiot. It's a wonderful relationship one-sided relationship that I have with him. But it's a very funny movie to sit and just watch with your friends and feel stupid for a little bit. And I've seen it like 4 or 5 times.
I'd love to rip a big old bong hit and do that, but I can't. I'm gonna have to go full in sober.
You can rip a metaphorical bong hit. I think it would still penetrate. So
well, I hope so. Mm-hmm. It has to for me.
Yeah, I think it would still tickle a fancy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Are these rapid enough for you?
They're pretty rapid. It's going to be 5 rapid questions that we're going to talk about. Food that makes you close your eyes and forget where you are.
What the fuck?
I know.
Food?
So yeah, do you ever eat something and go, that's good?
Are you okay? Do you starve yourself? Who is that excited about food?
I am.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You close your eyes. You have a physical reaction.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Caviar sandwich at Chubby Fish, Charleston, South Carolina can make me fucking pause life.
Wait, is there anything else on the sandwich besides caviar?
Yeah, a little creme fraiche.
What the fuck is that?
It's delicious.
Are you loaded? What's happening right now? How much money do you have in your bank account right now? Those are two very fancy things, no?
Questions.
Those are 2 very fancy things, no? Caviar
Pretty
and
fancy.
Creme fraiche.
Creme fraiche is fucking whipped cream. It's
yeah, but it's French. It's heightened.
No, you got me there. Anyway, so food, bad question.
No, I want to go back to my question. Okay. Sorry, you're right. What food makes me
that's not
close
something
my
that
eyes?
resonates with you, you don't...
Listen, can I be honest? Can we get real?
Please.
I have an interesting relationship with food because I have a bad stomach. Mm-hmm. And my stomach is very sensitive.
Got it.
So my favorite foods are the foods
Pepto-Bismol.
that I love Tums. My favorite foods are the foods that leave my stomach the fuck alone.
Yeah,
which is just like chicken with salt and pepper on it. Mm-hmm. Or
lovely.
Like a little Lara bar, like a banana bread Lara bar. Like something very simple. Actually, not that, because the bananas probably fuck me up. I'm trying to think of like a meal that I've had that was insatiable to me.
If it's that hard to think of, this is just not a good question.
I don't think it's the question for me.
Okay. It's okay.
I don't think it's a question, because my brain immediately goes to, well, is this going to make me fart?
Yeah, we don't love that.
Yeah, and I get emotional about it. So I think let's just move on. If I think of anything, I will shout it out like Tourette's.
Well, I asked you when I reached out to you some restaurant recommendations, and you gave me a few.
Yeah, so but I took a week to get back to you for that reason. I was like, fuck, I don't know what to say, because I like the gluten-free, dairy-free,
non-inflammatory,
suck everything out that's good in this meal and give it to me through an IV.
All right.
We have a question for you.
Okay.
If you could take a pill and it would satiate you and all of your meals and you'd be perfectly healthy, give you the exact amount of vitamins and minerals and nutrients that you needed every single day, but you could never eat real food again, would you do it? I feel like your answer is no.
That is a hard no.
This is so interesting because for me, it's an absolute yes. It's an immediate yes.
That's so funny. Well, we can do this for about 3 minutes. So,
Easton, on the clock, could you put 3 minutes, please?
Easton, pause the recording, please. So I am like a self-taught chef. I cook as a hobby. I love food. I love experimenting with food. It's like my thing.
Yeah.
And not that everybody should be that way, but I guess my fault was that I assumed that a lot of people like to eat and enjoy that experience like I do. Not everybody does, obviously.
I I think it's fine to assume that most people do. I think most people do. I like food. I like eating. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anyone who's listening to this to think that I am suggesting that food. This is how I get canceled.
IV is the way.
Yes, just honestly inject yourself with whatever you want.
God,
quite
that tastes
frankly,
so good.
Whatever gets you going in the morning. No, I think most people get dopamine and satisfaction from food.
Right. And I'll
Yes.
be the first to admit, having gone through a series of addictions to multiple things, my doctor describes me as a dopamine guy.
Yeah.
Huge dopamine guy. I love the hits. I'm very much in control now, but leading up to this point, I was not, and I would just kind of succumb to the things that make me feel good and sound good and taste good and feel good and all these things. Once I gave up all the kind of artificial stuff, food has become my substitute.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
And I'm not a glutton. I don't eat just crap. Occasionally I do, but I just find it to be that thing that I can like hone in on and focus, and it pulls my attention and it pulls my curiosity and my fascinations, as well as tasting good.
It's also a communal thing. It brings people together. It creates memories. It creates emotions. It creates. I mean, I get it. It's a. I would rather eat food. I just wish that my experience eating food was a little less stressful.
Yeah,
Quite frankly.
I get it. And I'm now, like I said, 47, about to be 48, and I've got things that I'm sensitive to. I got
Yes,
all
they
the shit
pop
too. I got literal all the shit too.
Congratulations. It's better than the opposite. Can you imagine just being chock full all day?
Yeah. Okay. Next.
Want to move on from the shit? All right. Weird.
All right, here's a cerebral one.
Oh, all right. Hold on.
Deep.
Let me fix my boobs.
Yeah, get your bra under your
Hey,
shirt.
this is where my brains live.
If you could know the answer to any question, what would you ask?
What's my purpose here?
And you want something or someone to tell you that answer? You don't want to figure it out? Isn't that the point of the...
It is the point. I'm just.
It'd be a little easier,
no
right?
patience.
Just a little easier, right?
I think just making sure I'm on the right path. I feel like I'm constantly guessing what my purpose is because I'm drawn to so many things.
Okay.
I think that's where I get hung up
Yeah.
a little bit, which is probably the thing I need to address. Is there is no right or wrong. Just kind of follow whatever your heart wants, whatever the fuck, whatever is making people happy, not harming people. But for me, sometimes I'm like, am I supposed to be making people laugh? Am I supposed to be talking about the birth control thing? Am I supposed to be talking about my relationship with my mother? Like, what is the thing that I'm supposed to give to the world?
Perfect segue.
Okay.
Let's go into that.
Okay, let's do it.
So, purpose. I might just throw out this piece of paper because I kind of have my little, give me a little background. Where are you from? What college you go to? All that kind of stuff. But I don't really give a shit.
You don't know about my college experience?
West Virginia. I did my research.
Where does it say where I went to college?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn?
Which
I have a LinkedIn.
you do, and it's like, it doesn't even look like you.
Fascinating. It's probably from when I was a baby.
So you lived in Miami?
I did. Oh, is that from when that makes sense because I had a corporate job.
Yeah.
I forgot I made that. Fascinating. I'm so sorry. Okay, so we're not talking about that. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I want to go into the purpose thing because I think that is fascinating that your personality contributes to that, but you're also concerned whether you're doing the right thing and you're fulfilling your purpose. I would like to know more about why you think there is a designated path for you.
I don't know if there's like one path for anyone, but I do. Maybe that's the actual question. Like, is there one thing I'm supposed to be doing that I'm not doing? As opposed to, I feel like I'm constantly doing a bunch of different things and trying to. I'm a narcissist at heart, so I feel like I'm like, how can I save the world today? And I feel like I'm.
Is that a narcissist?
I don't know, maybe.
I think it's the opposite of a narcissist.
But it's like, but I have to do
For
it.
you, right.
I have to save the
Save
world.
the world
Ugh.
for you.
Yes. Well, it's also like, I'm the only one that can do it. Nobody else can do it except me. So that's
All
what
right,
comes
you're a
in.
narcissist.
Yep.
Full blown.
Confirmed. But I sometimes I'm like, what? Sometimes I get in my head that there is one thing that I'm supposed to be doing with my day, with my year, with my life, as opposed to the millions of things that I'm constantly doing that give me satisfaction. I hate doing just one thing, but it is the challenge of, should I be focusing on one thing? Would I have more success? Would I have more happiness? Would I have more effect if I focused on one thing?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. And I think it's a fascinating curiosity simply because I am now 47, and I've said that 3 times now.
You're really proud of it.
And I'm really like 48 in like a month.
Happy early birthday.
But I'm 47. And I often talk about the kind of journey of life and the journey of what led me to where I am. And mainly because I get asked this question so often. I started a company like a year and a month ago. It is a podcast. It is this in
Great.
Charlotte. And we do a lot of work in the B2B space. So I've created an agency arm where we do a lot of marketing strategy in the podcast space. People are like, have you always done this? Like, have you always been in media? Like, are you formally trained? And no is the funny answer. Is I was a mental health I was a therapist. I was a addiction coach. I was like a crisis manager. I've worked on Wall Street. I've literally done like so many different things.
Wait, how long have you been sober?
I quit drinking and doing hard drugs 19 years ago.
Okay.
So 29.
Okay.
So my 20s.
You wrote it hard, fast,
that was a
and
good
loose.
one.
Let's go.
Good decade there. But then marijuana kind of jumped in a few times. So I haven't been sober for 19 years.
California sober, as I say.
Yeah, that's what they call it. But when you're in recovery after like almost going to jail or dying like multiple times, it's like it's not too funny.
You're like, the cute little terms don't really add up.
No.
Yeah.
The people who really were concerned don't think that's funny.
That's
Anyway,
fair.
all that was
started the
about
company.
Yeah. So how did you get to where you are? And I love to talk about all the roads that I was on, similar to what you're talking about, that all kind of became like this, and then all of a sudden came, and now it's like this. And sure, I've got a purpose. I don't really call it that. I just am doing one thing now that so many things have led to, and I'm fucking good at this. And I've never been really, really good at one thing forever.
Yeah.
And now it's like I've got this thing, and I'm amped about it. And I love it, and it doesn't feel like work, and it's just fantastic. So you're 14 years younger than me. You're on that many roads path.
Yeah.
And you're trying to find that one path. I would just embrace the hell out of everything you do right now.
I know.
It's
I'm
very
trying.
hard to... I feel like I'm similar to you in that sense, where I like all these different things, and I don't know what I'm going to eventually be. I would have never, if you gave me a chance to list 100 things that I could be doing right now, a podcast production CEO and founder, it would not have been on that list. And I'm so happy about it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think before you did that, did you feel like you had found your thing?
Before I did, what do you mean?
Before you started the podcast and the empire, did you feel like you had found your thing?
With what I was doing previously?
Yeah, or ever, like in that journey?
I don't think so. And I think there's a little bit of an age kind of midlife over the hill component to that. I am now to a point where I am on my second half of life statistically, and there's just a different perspective on things.
Yeah.
And so before, I never thought about it like that. I never was really looking for my all-time life's purpose. I was just doing stuff.
Yeah.
And then now, and I still don't look at it that way. It's just the thing that has come to, that all the things have come together to create this one thing that I love and I'm good at.
Yeah, I think it adds a lot of stress to whatever it is that you're doing if it becomes your one thing that you're doing. I think the part that makes it complicated for me is that I know I've found something that I'm good at and that I love doing. It's just how do I build my life around it?
Make a living, yeah.
Yeah, how do I grow? How do I milk it for all that it's worth, or else I won't feel like I've succeeded almost. Or I won't feel like I took advantage of my talents or my abilities or my whatever. I took advantage of the hand that I was dealt, or didn't take advantage of the hand that I was dealt, if I don't milk it for all it's worth. And so I think that's kind of, all right, so I know I'm meant to tell stories in some capacity. How do I do that at its highest caliber with the most results? Like, that's kind of the place that I'm at. It's like, I know what the driving force is, or what like the thing is at its bare minimum, but what bucket do I put that in?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So I think that's, I'm trying to be on the, my thing was love what loves you back. That was kind of my little mantra for last year.
That's a good one.
And it was a good one. I felt like it fit. And I still am kind of leaning into it this year because I think it's kind of the only way to do this weird intangible thing that is any form of media. Like it's like there's no right path. It's ever changing. So you kind of have to just love what loves you back in order to have any semblance of sanity. But I also feel, am I loving the right thing that loves me back too?
Is it really loving you back?
Is it really loving me back? Because the thing is, like,
Is true love?
Yes. I think, and I would not have been able to say this like 5-6 years ago. I think, I'll take that.
It's very thick.
Is there caviar in there? I think, you dropped this wallet, by the way. It was very, very loud thud.
Costanza wallet.
I don't know. Maybe there's some hard cards in there. Now I'm distracted.
Yeah,
now I'm thinking about money.
I threw you
and
off.
all the purses and shoes I can buy.
Oh my God, caviar.
Fuck, I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh, 5-6 years ago, I probably wouldn't be able to say this, but I think I'm a really good actor, right?
Yes.
I've been doing it for 10 years. Like, I've studied it. I've done I just feel like now I'm in a place where I'm pretty good at it.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm a decent comedic entity in whatever shape or form that may be. So like, what the fuck do I do with that? You know what I mean? Like, what bucket? Like, obviously I'm meant to do that in some capacity if you believe in a meaning of sorts. Like, what the fuck do I do with it? What avenue do I go down? That's where I'm at. It loves me back in that I can feel validation in forms. I can feel success. I can feel growth. But there's also so much rejection when I'm pursuing different paths of acting or comedy or whatever it may be. So it is a constant push and pull of love and
Rejection.
hate.
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting. And oh shit, I had a good one. Hold on. I went blank. I looked at the clock and it threw me off.
No.
Hold on. I got it.
Do you want me to repeat what I said?
All right. So the trying things. What the fuck?
If I sing some Wicked, do you think it'll come to you? I've been working on. I've been working on it actually.
What a good movie. You are. You are funny. You are. This is.
That's what you were trying to find.
No. I'm gonna make my way back to it. I watched. So on the plane here, I was doing kind of my research, and I went to your YouTube channel, which I've never been to before. I just watch your Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. I know you're on there, but all your Instagram, like everything I've seen since I've followed you, which is maybe a year or so, is fucking fantastic. It's very, very funny.
That's really nice.
Then I went to then
I found
that's the worst thing. No, the point is.
Then I found out I was wrong.
My point is I saw things from the past, and it's very obvious how much you've grown and gotten better.
Oh, sure.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So how do you go into that world in the entertainment space and seek out as opposed to let come to? It's almost like I mean, there's so many analogies to that world, like relationships, like desperation, like I gotta have this job. This job is it's gonna make or break me. If I get it, my life will change. And then you don't get it because you're fucking desperate and you're putting off that energy. It's the same thing with relationships. Looking for a man, looking for a woman. Oh my God, that's the most perfect person in the world right there. I gotta have that person. Well, that's no way to get that person. And so it's, interestingly, I used the biological metaphor where my wife and I were trying to get pregnant, and when we were trying, we couldn't. When we stopped trying, we did. You hear that story all the time. There is a biological sense of that.
Right.
It's like you're not ready because you're trying so fucking hard.
Yep.
So there's some aspect to that. That's where I got lost.
No, that's so true.
Right?
And for me, it's a lot easier because I am single. It's a lot easier to have that mentality for relationships than it is for work for me.
Sure.
And for whatever reason. But I am able to be like, the dude, whatever dude that's meant to come into my life.
Douchebag.
Or girl, whoever wants to dance on it. Whoever is supposed to come in my life will come in my life. Like that will come. I just need to keep being the most authentic version of myself and they will come. Like that feels grounded and rooted and fine.
That's not going to pay your bills.
And but then there's this thing about my job where I'm like, no, you have to put an effort here, or else how can you reap what you sow if you don't sow?
Right.
So for me, I think it's probably a little bit of a balance. I probably should be putting a little bit of effort into finding a relationship and finding a person to bring into my life or whatever. Maybe there's shit like I'm not on dating apps. I don't leave my house. So it's a little bit harder.
I don't eat.
I don't eat. I don't leave my house.
I inject food. Yeah.
I go to the IV clinic and that's it. It's all women.
I'm a blast.
I'm good fun. But I think there probably is. I need to find a little bit more of a balance in letting things come to me in my career, in my work. But I have a really hard time not working. I feel like are you similar? I feel like anyone who has any sort of like entrepreneurial spirit in them,
oh my God,
if I may include myself in that.
You absolutely are.
I feel like it is our worst nightmare to just like sit and not do anything. But you have to. What I'm learning is that I'm actually way more motivated. I'm not like a super autonomous person. And I'm very driven, but not, I don't know that like my default setting is driven, maybe.
Yeah.
So I do have to actually force myself to do nothing for a little bit in order to kind of recoup that vibe.
Yeah.
And it sucks because what happens when you're relaxing is someone else is out there working harder than me. It's going to be more. They're going to take all the jobs that I want. Right. I'm failing. I'm going backwards now. If I'm not moving forward, I'm going backwards, right? As opposed to standing still. So it is, I'm working on the balance, man. It's hard. Therapy helps.
I was going to say, do you go to therapy?
Of course. Yeah. Look at me.
Yeah. You're a mess.
I need it. I need several therapists. I need them to communicate together and then come back to me and tell me what their findings are.
Yeah.
And so I need a whole team.
What do you get out of therapy?
I think right now, therapy for me, because I'm already so analytical of myself and everyone around me in my relationships, like I'm constantly analyzing everything.
Analyzing or criticizing?
A nice hefty dose of both.
Good.
I think
You're
it's
human.
both. I think I've gotten a lot better, especially in the past couple of years, of zooming out at my choices a little bit after they've happened, zooming out and being like, oh, that was interesting that I did that or said that or felt that way after this thing. What does that mean? I've gotten a lot better about that, and I'm really proud of that.
That's a lot of progress
for myself.
That's a lot of progress.
But I think therapy for now is kind of just like letting someone listen to me, because I have a really hard time. I don't know if you could tell, I enjoy talking. I don't know if that was obvious, and I'm very shy. But I get a little bit angsty about dumping things on my friends or my loved ones. And for me, therapy is kind of a place to dump.
Yeah.
Like it is, for better or for worse. I'm so sorry, my lovely therapist, but like it is an hour where I can just kind of dump all of the analyses and all of the things I've been thinking and all of the weird like concoctions I've come up in my head of things and just dump them on someone and not feel like I'm being a narcissist.
Like a burden? Or,
Yes.
Yeah.
And not feel like I'm being a burden, I don't have to feel codependence. I still do a little bit, but it's much less so than like with my friends or loved ones. So that's what do you like about therapy?
I haven't been in a while.
Yeah, I could tell.
A lot of anger in there. I'll say, well, I'll get pretty open with you. My wife and I separated a couple years ago.
Okay.
And during that time, and it was coupled with the fact that I am kind of midlife and all that stuff was going on in my head. And I'll say the biggest value of that experience, which I would call therapeutic. I mean, yes, we were in therapy, but the breakthroughs and the awakenings that we had during that time was very much about ego and pride coming down. And
What do you mean, ego and pride coming down?
so ego and pride are what create fear in my initial reactions to everyday life, including my relationships and love and parenting and all that kind of stuff. So ego and pride is always at the root of, or fear is at the root of the things that I'm not doing healthily.
So you're saying the goal of therapy for you was lessening the amount of ego and pride that you are coming from a place of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
And
good.
and honestly, I didn't get that in therapy. I didn't sit like this and all of a sudden go, "Oh man." It was like a experience. It was
Sure.
like something that fucking humbled me, that made that ego and pride come crashing down. Those walls, those protections, those survival mechanisms and defense mechanisms that I've had for
Wait,
so long.
One specific instance happened and that made you think, or was it?
Well,
cumulative?
no. It was a series of events, and probably if I really were to analyze it completely, I mean, a lot of things throughout my life led to that point. And that point was a true kind of awakening to how am I going to navigate life going forward if I don't knock all that shit out of here.
Yeah.
And that's just a simple way of talking about my fears and all the things that are ingrained in me that I've been to therapy about over 25 years.
Yeah.
Parents and childhood experiences and alcoholic father and like all these things that led to me being, toxic in a lot of ways. The fuck? I'm just saying,
I love it.
those experiences led to the separation, the watching my daughter suffer, all these things just was like, man, what are you doing? Like, the answer. You just haven't taken the action yet. And then that event that was about 10 months was just a series of things that occurred that made me humbled.
Yeah. And you know what? And I'm sure, I hope you've done
Mustache
this.
is tickling me.
Is
Sorry.
it tickling?
Yeah, it's going up in there.
Get him out of there. I think so many people get to that point. They have whatever you experienced in those 10 months, which I don't know if you've talked about it, but I think people reach that point and they aren't able to zoom out and have the analysis of I was the problem or I can fix this by addressing something. I think people go their whole lives to their deathbed and they blame other people, or they just don't have the capacity to look at themselves analytically. And
You said it.
I think that's the I have so much compassion for people who aren't able to do that, because I get high whenever I can look at a situation and figure out how I can address it from something that I'm doing, like how I can change something bad in my life. Like even if it's bad, if I can find accountability for myself in something that I don't like, it's like I'm jacking off.
Freedom.
It is so bliss.
Yeah.
It is pure bliss. And for people to go their whole lives without ever experiencing their own accountability, like, you must feel powerless. You must feel absolutely powerless your whole life. It's got to be like you're in a straitjacket.
Oh my God. God, I love that you brought that up. All right, let's do that for a minute.
Should we do straight jackets?
All right, tie me up. Yeah. So, do you know who Jocko is? He was
Why do I know that name?
Jocko, who's like a Navy SEAL guy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's freedom and discipline is his like tagline, and it's very much around the same thing where it's like, or actually, Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, that's a big thing that's been in my life for a long time. It's not currently, but it has been for 25 years, and it teaches you that. It's kind of that old saying, like 90 life is 90% what happen, or 10% what happens, and 90% how you react to it. And so that's always it. And so this all is coming together with like the experience of my separation and everything. And it was like, this is not her fault. You know, and even if it was her fault, my reaction to what she did, it's not her fault. It was my fault. But the reaction to is all we can control.
Yeah.
We can only control ourselves. And that comes from everything you just said, the self-awareness. I mean, I spoke about this like a week ago on something, but are just all about self-awareness.
Yeah. It's huge. Yeah, again, it's your power. How can you ever make any real changes in your life if you can't find one thing that you could change about it? Not even like to name it as something wrong might not be the best way to go about it, but if you can't find, if I'm like constantly blaming my parents for every bad decision I've ever made, then I will never make a good decision.
Right.
And there's plenty of stuff there.
Sure.
There's plenty of blame I could pass, and there's plenty of bad decisions that I could very accurately pin back to something, right?
Yeah.
To childhood, to whatever, to life circumstance.
Oh, you're a victim.
I am such a victim. The world's out to get me. It's very easy to live that life, I'm sure. But
that's the thing. It's the easiest way to live.
it's so easy. It's so easy, but it's so. Sometimes I feel like it is very like almost like matrixy. Like it is very blue pill, red pill. I don't remember which one it is, but like once you realize that when you find accountability for yourself, that like this portal opens.
Yeah.
To like finding new
ways
to live life.
Yes.
I feel like I'm speaking very
Cliche.
ethereal, but I know you get what I'm talking about. Can I ask you a question? What do you think for alcoholism and addiction, specifically alcoholism, I guess, just to narrow it down? Do you think that it is genetic? Do you think that it is like nature versus nurture? Do you think that it was a circumstance? Do you think that it was, if you lived a different life after college, would it have been different? Like, I'm just curious what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah. Certainly get asked that question a lot.
Okay.
And a lot of people want a simple answer. It's this or that. Here's what did it. Here's the reason. It's never that easy. It is.
I want the most complicated answer you can give me.
Well, it's
Let's go.
It's like trying to define someone's brain or personality. It's like it is the culmination of a lifetime of experiences as well as genetics that led to that. At this one moment, 3 weeks from now, it could be different. Alcoholism's the same way. And it's such yes, there's a genetic component, no question. But even that, it's like people talk about the alcoholic gene. There's no alcoholic gene. There's no gene in our body that has something to do with an external substance. It has to do with how your body processes it, how it breaks down sugars, how your personality is influenced by your emotional intelligence and maturity that came from some genetic predisposition. It's so freaking complex. Yeah. Now, of course, then there's like these things that you can pinpoint that if that didn't happen, maybe I wouldn't have done this and then that and then this and then that, and then I wouldn't have been in jail for that third DUI, and then I wouldn't have had to go to rehab. You can always roll it back like multiple experiences and say if that didn't happen, maybe it wouldn't have led to this.
Did you have 3 DUIs?
4.
You had 4?
Yeah.
That's just as many as my dad.
Oh,
Congratulations.
good for him. It's an elite club.
Only 3 more than me though. So
Good for you.
I'm on a
At
great
least you
path.
got one. You got one notch in your belt.
Yeah, but the reason I ask is because I've been thinking a lot about it lately because both of my parents are alcoholics, and when I was younger, had a very tumultuous relationship with alcohol. I got a DUI when I was 17, and I was definitely using it for like escape and there was parts of like fitting in and escaping this turmoil in me, like who am I, blah 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 blah.
Yep.
But as I've gotten older, I don't actually have a bad relationship with alcohol. I can go out, have one drink, and be fine.
Yeah.
I've gone months without drinking. I don't really care. But if I'm out, I'm like, I kind of want a margarita. I'll have like half a margarita. And I find it fascinating that I'm able to do that. But there are so many people in my life that I know and love who cannot do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is it in my brain that makes me go, well, no, I don't need to escape this right now. Or I know that I'm going to feel bad tomorrow if I have more than one. Or I have to do this thing tomorrow and I'd rather do it not hungover. Whereas other people, that thought, maybe doesn't penetrate. Maybe it's there. Maybe it's the connection of that specific thing to your dopamine receptors that is so heightened.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it's other things maybe. I don't know. It's so fascinating. And I wish we were able to study it or analyze it more because I do find it fascinating. Because because both my parents, obviously I had an issue with it when I was younger. Why am I fine with it now?
Yeah.
I just find it so fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, it is fascinating and it does go back to the complexity of it. I mean, a lot of people say, a lot of people ask me if I drank now, do I think I'd be able to control it? Like more so than 19 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know that answer. I'm not going to find out until I'm 70.
Yeah, 70 the number?
I think it might be.
Okay.
It keeps getting shorter and shorter. 62.
54.
But like that piece that you just said, like the ability to control your actions. That was what I didn't possess. Now I was in my 20s and I was a little more irrational and loose, but I was also very troubled, and alcohol worked very, very well for me. I mean, maybe it did for you too back then. I often say, my wife can drink 3 glasses of wine and is on the verge of getting sick. Like I can drink 3 glasses of wine and I feel more like God.
Like I'm just getting started.
And if I have 9, I am God.
Sure.
And I truly feel like whatever, God or whatever, but I just like the euphoria and the confidence.
Yeah.
Like it works for me.
And you, being a doping addict, do you like Coke? Do you ever do Coke?
Big time.
Yeah, Coke was a good, like Adderall and Coke were, I would say, the only thing that I was like, ooh, this is
A little too good.
This is a little too good.
Right,
and
right.
I'm really grateful that I emotionally come down off of stimulants. Even coffee. If I have too much coffee, like I crash.
Yeah.
And it's like the closest thing I think I will ever feel to like true clinical depression, hopefully. But like I pounded Adderall in college, and I would always, by the end of the day, unless I could supplement with alcohol, or the next morning, I would just feel empty and just like nothing mattered, and I would just feel like this cave inside my body that I was living in. And I'm so grateful that I felt that way, because I was like, the feeling that I feel while being on this high of dopamine and feeling on top of the world, starting so many businesses, that is not worth this devastation that I feel the next morning. I don't ever want to feel that.
Yeah.
And maybe that makes me not an addict, because I'm able to analyze it in that way and not do it. But also, I guess I'm just grateful that I had such a reaction to it, because I know a lot of people who don't have that reaction. They just feel on top of the world. And I don't know how I would ever quit if all you feel is on top of the world.
No consequence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and there's also when you feel like that, you just do more.
Yeah, that's true. You just never come down.
Right.
Yeah, there is. That's a beautiful
That
cycle.
was me.
Yeah.
That was me. And
Okay.
that was like, drinking at work kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was like full blown. But I mean, when you say maybe I'm not an addict, like, it's just multiple definitions of it. Depends.
Yeah. And I don't mean
does
to
it
make it
affect
so
you?
black and white. It's
Yeah.
just like and it's a spectrum too, because
Very much.
I would put myself as, I would say I'm addicted to certain things on the spectrum of addiction. Like I am very much addicted to, I just happen to be addicted to like being the best version of myself, which is fucking
God,
gross.
How lucky.
But it is technically like
An addiction.
An addiction. Like I stress out so much about what I eat. A lot of that is my tummy, as we've discussed, my little baby tummy. But about being healthy and about making sure I'm like reading books about my health and my mental health, and I'm always on. I think that is its own form of addiction, and it's dopamine too.
Sure.
Like I'm constantly trying. I can't sit alone with my own thoughts for more than 5 seconds. I have to be like listening to a podcast or listening to music that makes me feel anything besides neutral. Like I have to be feeling either happy or sad or something, or I have to be being entertained in some capacity. And that is its own form of escape or whatever. It just happens to be not as harmful to other people, I think. So it doesn't get any sort of like label on it, but
Yeah.
it's just as itchy.
Right. Well, I would say I'm addicted to bailing on responsibilities.
Say more.
So if I've got something that I've got to do in like tomorrow morning,
Okay.
it is back here.
Okay.
And it drives, and I don't like that. I prefer a carefree kind of existence. Now, this isn't as extreme as I make it sound, but like if I have to, like I do this thing called foundation training. I have lower back pain. And so this guy comes and he makes me do this like work for like 55 minutes, and it is excruciating. It is hard. It's
the book, The Foundation. Isn't that a book for back pain?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's called foundation training. It's like you turn your feet in and you do this like stance, and it's like this very hard thing to do.
Okay.
And so it's very, very good for me, and it's very good for my back. And then I don't want to do it, so I bail on it, and I love when I bail on it. Like it feels so good.
Why? Because you feel like you took your power back or something, or what is?
Because I don't have to think about it, and I don't have to do something that hurts.
See, this is so interesting because we're the opposite. I love doing. I'm like, I did something that hurt today.
I know.
I succeeded.
Well, I mean, but I make myself do that because I know it's a problem. Like I do ice baths and I do all kinds of crazy personal challenges and shit. Like
Yeah.
I do all those things.
You got a New Year's challenge?
Well, I'm going to Hawaii next month to do 3 days of getting my ass kicked by a guy named Laird Hamilton, big wave surfer, and his
the surfer
wife,
guy.
Gabby Reese.
Oh my God, that'd be so fun.
It is fun. I did it in Malibu last year, and it's very hard.
Yeah, I would imagine.
It's very amazing. It was the greatest experience of my life.
I was reading that Tim Ferriss book. I forget what it's called, but it's Tools of Titans. It's like,
Yeah.
Have you read it?
No, but I know it.
Just like accumulation of his podcast.
Yep.
It's like 10 years old now, but yeah, he there was a few pages, and I remember him talking about probably doing something very similar to whatever it is that you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
And how challenging, but how fulfilling it is after you do it.
It's a lot of underwater work. It's scary. A lot of breath holding and like training for big waves. Laird was on my podcast.
Oh yeah,
a month
okay.
or so ago.
I'll have to go listen.
It's a
How
good one.
How are your ears? How's your inner ear relationship?
In cold, not good. In water, fine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I guess I've never tested it in the cold.
Walking out in like cold wind
Is that what I'm feeling?
crushes my ears.
Is that what's happening to me?
I don't know. You tell me.
Because recently I was walking and it was really cold, and I was like, I think I'm getting an ear infection, and it kind of registered that I do feel this way often in cold wind, but I've never put it together. Oh my God! Thank you so much for this gift.
Sure, well, earmuffs. It's a simple solution.
I got earmuffs, but yeah, for me it's the water. I can't go.
Pressure?
The pressure kills me.
Yeah.
and thankfully I've figured out a way to suppress it on planes, or my body's gotten better about it on planes. It used to kill me on planes too.
Yeah.
It feels like there's like a little man inside your ear canals, two little men, if I will, like pushing their way out for their dear life. It is. Have you felt? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Very, very much so. My inter-ear relationship. It's funny you asked that. My ears are very sensitive.
Are they?
Super sensitive.
Do you think there is
and emotional?
Are they emotional?
They're angry.
Oh, they've been through a lot.
Well, they have. It's all my parents' fault.
Of course, those parents. But yeah, what were we talking about? Okay, let's go back. Layered challenges. Oh, New Year's challenge. Okay, so that's gonna be. Every year I feel like I try to do some sort of little challenge, but yours is getting your ass kicked in Hawaii. So
it's only 3 days. I do have a lot of back pain, and I'm trying. I think my biggest resolutions is to do what it takes to alleviate this back issue I've got going on.
Yeah. Are you? But wait, real quick. Are you of the Dr. Sarno school of thought?
God, I've heard of him. Remind me of what his thought is.
All back pain is emotional?
Oh, hell no.
No?
Well, no. I'll retract that because if I did everything that I was supposed to be doing, I wouldn't have back pain. So you could probably take it back to everything I just said, like bailing on the thing that's good for me.
Yes.
That comes from an emotional place. So, sure.
Like it's very like Body Keeps the Score vibes. There's a documentary on something. I want to say it was like on like the Gaia Network. I don't know if you were a part of that clan for a moment. There was a thing called the Gaia Network, and it was like
I remember it.
You remember it? It was really obtuse, like crazy, like very conspiracy driven documentaries. But like I ate them up like fodder. But there was one I think on there about him, and I think he's since passed, but he was very much like, no one needs back surgery. You have to, like, unless you have physically injured your back, like there's a car accident situation or whatever, any sort of kind of chronic phantom pain can be attributed back to something going on in your life emotionally, whether it is grief, whether it is stress, whether it is whatever, all of the above. If those things are addressed in a healthy way, then your back pain will alleviate. That was his kind of thought after being what's a back doctor called?
Chiro?
No, he wasn't a chiropractor. He was like a back guy, like a surgeon, like the person you go to when you break your
Spinal,
C4.
Neuro.
No, there's a word for a back doctor.
Don't know it.
It's your back. You should know this. You're having back issues.
No.
Oh my gosh, it should be in your vernacular, the tip of your tongue.
Spinal and something.
Okay, you go to the joint, whatever.
Yeah, it's a disc issue.
Okay, fine. But disc issues are different. I will say Dr. Sarno would want me to say that disc issues are different. But it was I don't know how much of it I truly believe, because the body is the body as well. And like we move, and I'm sure you're a physically active person, right? Like you work out.
Pretty physically active. I try to be.
Yes. So I think inherently in that, you're going to fuck up your body in some capacity. But I like the idea I subscribe to the idea that our emotions take a very, very heavy toll on our body. And I think that maybe if we did more research, we would find that certain emotions do affect and target certain parts of our body. Like stress may go to the back because it is the largest thing and it's the place that can hold the most. And we tend to put stress in our back when we're physically working. So why wouldn't we put stress in our back when we're emotionally working? To me, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. I fully subscribe to that. I think there's I seriously do. There's a lot of neck stuff. Same thing.
Don't even get me started.
Migraines and on the whole deal.
Don't even get me started on the neck stuff.
How about stomach?
Well, don't even get me started.
I mean, I almost went into that when you started talking about it, but
no, it's so true. There's so much in there.
Totally.
Because it started happening. This is a much longer story we don't have to get into.
We got to wrap.
Okay. But yeah, like my stomach issues started happening after like a very stressful thing happened to me. It got really, really worse. And I was like, oh, that can't be a coinkydink. It all comes back.
Yeah. Well, my stomach was a wreck this morning, and it's because I have nerves before these interviews. Not like it used to, but these are two, y'all are very important.
You made me feel very important, which I appreciate.
Well, you've come a long way.
Thanks, bud. Just don't go look at my YouTube, apparently. It's really going to let you down.
Oh, what did I watch? It was interesting, the one where y'all were trying to get the gal to go to rehab. Some mockumentary. You were like the dumb blonde who cheated on the...
Oh, that was recent. Be careful.
No, it said a year ago. I'm not saying it was bad. No, that was a good one.
I was trying to do like a whole YouTube thing where I did like if blank was blank. So I did like if Euphoria was a Greg Daniels mockumentary.
Yeah.
And I was going to do like if Titanic was a comedy. And I had all these ideas. And I was like, it would be fun, but it's a whole other different avenue. And I'd rather do long form content that's like a scripted series instead. It's
been an hour and 6 minutes.
Should we wrap up?
And I didn't ask all the things I wanted to ask, which is fine. I said we were going to have a chat, and we did.
I loved our chat.
We did have a chat. I wanted to promote you.
To what?
I don't know.
What's my new job?
Whatever you're doing. Promote you.
To repeat guests, I come back in an hour.
I just wanted you to tell the listeners that tune into this podcast who you are, what you do, and where they can find you, and what to expect.
Oh God, who am I? What do I do?
I don't know.
As we've discussed, I now go by Courtney Michelle. I'm trying to lose my last name.
She doesn't know her last name.
I don't know my last name. I'm trying to forget about it. Anyone who knows the Men in Black, they have one of those thingies. Let me know. My platforms are at It's Courtney Michelle on I think everything. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's different on YouTube, but don't go on YouTube because apparently it's just.
I didn't say that.
It's just
I just said she's gotten better.
No, it's just filth. It's filth on there. But that's pretty much
very young when she was doing those things. It was a year ago.
Way back in the day. But yeah, Google Courtney Michelle and hopefully it's me.
Yeah, you'll see it. She's very funny.
Is there anything like that you will be upset you didn't ask me? This feels very self-indulgent actually now that I said it out loud. Is there anything that you just be really
stressed about? Are you going to be okay?
Are you going to be okay? There's anything you really just need to know about me?
Oh man, we didn't. No, this is great.
Okay.
This is very natural. It's perfect. Courtney Michelle, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.